They are not opposing white supremacy. They are not opposing white nationalism. They are not opposing white separatism. They are opposing white identity. They are opposing white people.
And we are rolling in. We're not going to be here very long, but it's wonderful to see every one of you. If you have a question or comment while we are here this evening, please get them in quickly. We have Entropy up, and we have YouTube, and of course Odyssey and D Live, and we might even be on Rumble. I don't know if it's working this time or not. Maybe somebody could tell me if it works. But having said that, we're going to get right into the subject matter, which is this encouragement to use the word groomer, which was brought to my attention the other day by the one and only, the magnificent Fournol. And he pointed out all of these different places, all of these different sectors across society that are now suddenly in the U.S. encouraging the use of the word groom and groomer and grooming for pedophiles and rape gangs. And this is, if not a act of psychological warfare, it should be. But if you were a betting person, you would be in the right to bet that this is an act of psychological warfare against the population, encouraging the use of this word groom, which has become endemic in the UK. You can't even bring up alternatives to groomer as a consequence of it being used so long over there. But the anti-whites, they want you to use groomer for pedophile, and they want you to use groomer and grooming gang for rape gangs. Outside of the inappropriate association that you see here, how often do you interact, and what are those interactions with the words groom, groomer, and grooming? Seriously, think about that for a minute, because I have been in this trying to help our people understand this for decades. And the level of ignorant resistance, absolute stolidness, intractability is beyond expression. It is ineffable. How do you interact with the words in your totality of your life? Groom, groomer, and grooming. Let's look at a couple associations. Might help you out a little bit when you think about this. A person employed to take care of horses at a stable. What did you think about the groomer that was taking care of your expensive horse? A man who is to be married or has recently been married. What do you think about the groom? Are those positive? And that's what I want you to think about here, is the feeling when you have interacted with the words groom, groomer, and grooming. I want you to think about how it felt, because you cannot resist the denotative and connotative attendant associations. And the most powerful of these are emotional. They are the feelings. And I think you'll see that all of the feelings associated with groom, grooming, and groomer are positive feelings. The groom at a wedding, the groomer who takes care of your expensive horse or your dog. Be Vokish, yes, your dog groomer. Rory is here, says good evening. A good evening to you in Promethean Hails. So many wonderful folks. Great to see you all. Of course, you had the groomer as one of several officers in an English royal household. You're unlikely to have come into contact with that usage as a man or male servant. Groomed, grooming, grooms, to care for the appearance of. In other words, to take care of your appearance. To make neat and trim. To make neat and trim. Somebody who is well groomed. If you are well groomed, what are the attendant feelings associated with that? Groomed himself carefully in front of the mirror. To clean and to brush. To remove dirt and parasites from the skin, fur, or feathers of another animal. All positive things. To prepare, as for a specific position. To groom you to take the role of CEO. To groom you to be prepared to enroll in that prestigious all-boys academy. In sports, to groom, to prepare, to train, to care for one's appearance. Clean and tidy in appearance, groomed, well-groomed, tidy. Over the course of your life, this word groom, and this is, we can only say so much when you are on a platform like YouTube with the anti-whites that control everything, and they're just waiting any moment to just delete everything, all of your work, many years of work, just to erase it all. But this is, you are looking at, in my opinion, but ask CNN, you are looking at the most powerful form of control on planet Earth. And that is to use words that have positive emotional connections for the negative things that are inflicted on our people. You were well groomed when you went to church. The dog that was filthy gets groomed, and then when returned to you is clean, the fur is trimmed, the dog smells nice. Any animal, your cat, goes from a state of being dirty or filthy to being objectionable of you, from that state to a state of being welcoming, positive. The animal kissing you on the chin. These are all positive emotions. Let me ask you, how long would a population tolerate something called rape gangs versus how long they would tolerate grooming gangs or introduction gangs or preparing or preparation gangs? I submit that if you had rape gangs in your town, in your city, in your country, that it would not be long before men of action by the hundreds came together to put an end to the rape gangs. It is a great error to conclude that just because you can consciously say that a positive word means something negative, such as this case, that you have changed the attendant associations in your mind. You haven't. I submit to you that the reason why people have not moved against what is called grooming gangs, a great misnomer, epic in proportions, that they have not moved against them in any great numbers. They have not gone to their elected officials and forced them out of office if they would not take care of the rape gangs. I submit to you that this has not happened because when you hear grooming gang, you have a positive emotional experience. I want you to think about it. We have worked for many years on concepts, on ideas, on words. We have submitted them to the scientific method, and we continue to improve the power of these concepts. And yet we are surrounded by people in the white sympathetic sphere that want to continue to use the most destructive concepts that the anti-whites can give to us. Consider this. If someone suggested that you get your dog groomed, are you going to get the hellish emotional sensations that a gang rape brings to body and mind? Of course not. It is the height of foolishness to believe that you can use your conscious mind to give a new meaning, an ugly meaning, to a positive concept and believe that you have changed the attendant emotions, lifelong emotions associated with it. Consider also the misnomers great replacement and great reset. I used the word great moments ago on purpose to demonstrate that less often we associate the word great with large, prodigious in our lived experience. More often, we associate the word great with something that is wonderful, splendid, remarkable, positive connotation. When you look at the two, which of those lived experiences communicates an emotional memory? Not the big in size. Have I made it narrow enough? It's when you use the word great and have heard the word great used for wonderful performances, a great singer, a great athlete, a great adventurer. There is an emotional connotation to those. There is no emotional connotation to great as in prodigious. So when you use the word great, you draw forth, you summon the positive emotions associated with a lifelong lived experience of that word. Let me ask you about the word replacement. How have you interacted with the word replacement? How have you heard it used the majority of your life? Has it been a negative thing? When the refrigerator breaks, you get a replacement. When a part goes bad in your airplane, you get a replacement part. In nearly every single case, replacement means something positive in our lived experience over the course of our lives. What then is summoned in your mind when you say, or when some content creator says, or organization leader says, great replacement? Again, you can use your conscious mind to say, in this case, it means something different. But you cannot replace the attendant emotions. Why is it that you don't see people moving en masse against something called the Great Replacement? Which, of course, since I'm on YouTube, I don't believe in something called that. I believe whatever CNN says it is. What about Great Reset? Well, we've already covered the word great. What is your lived experience with reset? Well, almost the entire male population under, what would you say, 50 has a positive experience when they reset the game. Things are reset because they have gone wrong. That is our lived emotional experience with the word. Why then do we continue to see folks refuse to stop using anti-white locutions in favor of the lexicon and dialectics that have proven themselves successful in service to white well-being here in going free of the anti-white narrative? Great Reset is something also I do not believe in. I do not believe that Great Replacement and Great Reset exist in the real world. I believe whatever CNN tells me to believe about those conspiracy theories. But that is moot. We're talking here about the application of language for the purpose of thought, for the purpose of motivation. This is insanity that you see people calling for the word groom and groomer to be given to what they believe are pedophiles. It is insane to use the word grooming, which every one of our women associates with a positive experience at the beauty salon. It is absolutely insane to use the word grooming gang in lieu of rape gang. To me, a grooming gang is a bunch of beauticians that show up and massage your hands and feet while they cut and style your hair. So I'll ask the question one more time before we get ready to roll out. Why is it that you don't see a massive upswell of righteous indignation of white men and women and good people of all races coming together against grooming gangs, groomers? Great Reset, Great Replacement. Once again, I submit that it's because of the emotions that are attendant that we've learned and are implanted in our subconscious minds as permanent and controlling there, as is our ability to drive an automobile or ride a bicycle. If these things had been called rape gangs and pedophiles and molestation, if they had been called white erasure, I submit that we would have had that massive upswell in the population that would have wanted to put an end to this sort of victimization. And I also submit to you that the anti-whites behind the psychological warfare waged against us, that they know that too. That's why they keep giving you concepts that neuter you. Over on Entropy, Looks like we haven't missed anything on Cash App. It was great to see everybody this evening. We'll be back on Sunday. I discuss all of these things and much more in epiphany erupting detail in my book, Go Free. The book is a workbook that has already transformed the lives of many thousands of people. I detail my personal transformation to defender of the West and coming to grips with such anti-white psychological warfare tactics as I have discussed here in my book, Crucible, Child Patriot American Victory. I want you to please consider acquiring these texts as soon as you can so that you can go free of the psychological warfare that has, is, and will continue to be waged against us by the anti-whites. Please share this video with all your circles of influence because the anti-whites are going to be shutting it down so that no one finds out about it. And let me hear your thoughts in the thread below. Roll out.